right. Koshmar is the Russian word for nightmare, and I actually named this because it's extremely difficult to ride up. Basically, that's where we're going. This is basically the top of the climb. There's a little bit more uphill after it, but you feel that you're at the top when you get to this point, and then there's some downhill, which is always very welcome. And the next image is some kind of an idea of the track. Now, it was pretty damp yesterday, so it was difficult to actually get good grip. And well, I enjoyed it, but I didn't do very well, I must be honest. I really struggled on this ride. This is quite a popular climb, only for serious cyclists, but a lot of people do ride up this, and I must be honest, I really used to really like riding up this track. But unfortunately, the road today doesn't look too bad, but it was just a bit damp, so it was difficult to get a grip. Doesn't mean I would have gone much faster. Just means there were stretches where I actually couldn't even ride at all, even though typically I probably could get up a slope like that. But anyway, it's a nice ride. As I say, a lot of people ride it. It's pretty popular, and I wouldn't say I know how many people go up it, but from the list I see on Strava, it would be at least 20 people who ride it from time to time. Trouble was today, for the first time, I came up here and I saw this roadblock, or barrier, I suppose. Now, it's okay for cyclists, they're not trying to keep cyclists out, but it's a little bit depressing because there were another two, and one of them there was no easy way around it. And I asked a friend who rides this route quite a lot, and he says, no, it's not for us, it's for cars. Still a little bit depressing. I would rather cars didn't come up here myself, to be honest. Come for a picnic and leave the rubbish in the mountains. Not very nice, of course, but I would just rather feel that it's just free to ride, you know.
Oven gloves. Every turn is out, put my fingers in the fire. Cause I got joy division oven gloves. I got joy division oven gloves. Ooh, tropical diseases. Ooh, chemical alarm. Ooh, I'm a little blase. Give me joy division oven gloves. Give me joy division oven gloves. Division oven gloves. I've been to a postcard fair. Let me join division oven gloves. Ooh, Nagasaki towpath. Ooh, tickling the lead. Ooh, checking out the Quantox. Every joy division of gloves. 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 Every joy division of gloves. Of gloves. Of gloves. Every joy division of gloves. Every joy division of gloves. My grandfather's clock was too tall for the shelf, so I sold it and opened up a stall. Selling joy division of gloves. We got joy division of gloves. Get your joy division of gloves.
Hallelujah! Now, I'll be honest with you, there's a house which you're going to see in I don't know how many minutes, but about a kilometre from here, and the video will be speeded, in fact it's speeded up here. I wish I was this good, but it's my dream house. I can't really film it because it's private property, but I always think, well, I used to because I've not ridden up here for over a year, but I very often think to myself, oh come on, you know, I wish they'd sell it. Probably be about my price range, but yeah, it's not a luxury mansion or anything, it's just a little sort of bungalow in a forest. Great, love it. Now, although this is just a single track dirt track, you do actually have to be pretty careful because a car coming down here might think there's no one coming up. And I'm not saying they go really fast, but also not slowly. So, well, obviously if you can see up the track, they can see you, you can see them, that's alright. But going around corners, the odd place here and there, you have to be a bit more careful. This here, now, I personally can't ride over there, or I probably could if I really pushed it, but I'm not going to be able to get the traction anyway. It's not too wet at this point because it's rocky, but at the same time it's very loose too. So I had to push up here. Unfortunately, a lot of this ride today, which you see now, I spent time pushing, and I didn't do very well, I'm afraid. It's not one of my most enjoyable rides, but decided to film it anyway because it's new footage. You can't knock new footage. This is the top of the climb. Not the whole climb, oh no, but the first part of the climb is a kilometre and a half, and as I say today it was very difficult to get going, but this is always a very welcome sight. But again, I don't know if you'll see it, I really doubt you will, but on the left, just where the sunlight, you know, when you get into the sunlight, then there's a little property there, and oh, just for me, dream house. And I used to go past it every time I saw it. I just looked for a for sale sign stuck to the gate. There never was one, and there wasn't one yesterday. Okay, so my shadow says I'm pushing. No, I actually forgot that I did film the house. and you didn't see much of it, but I'd love to live there. There are a couple more houses in this area. Well, a couple literally, and I'm not sure who lives there, what they do, but I'd like to. Coming around the corner now, in a second you'll see another, I would call it a gate. It's not really set up to be a gate, but very often with these they do actually leave space for cyclists to go around it, and they didn't. That's barbed wire fence around the side, and again I don't think they are trying to keep cyclists out, but the point is it's very easy to get that bar off the plank. It was very easy to take it off and just to walk over it. So, you know, who are they trying to keep out? Because if anyone's determined to go up, motorbikes, quad bikes, stuff like that, they're going to very easily get through. So that might have been a horse gate. Coming down here now, there's another one, exactly the same, but this time there's a way around it. And it's clearly not been designed to keep cyclists out. Or if it was, they're clearly not doing a very good job of it. But again, like I said before, I don't like them. You know, just that feeling that, not that you're trespassing, because you're not, but that it's not free, you know, it's, well, okay, I'm rambling. Well, I suppose I could ask you to guess the time of year, but that would be a waste of everyone's time. Because it says in the corner of the screen. It's late September. No, obviously it's autumn. Very nice time of the year, but a bit depressing for cyclists because come up to the end of the season. Now I do have a smart trainer, which means I can put my bike on that on the balcony, and I can actually do some serious cycling through winter, which the previous years I haven't had. And so October for me was always really depressing because, you know, the last month, nearly October, sorry, the last month cycling. Snow generally tends to be early November. It's not always like clockwork, no, but typically I would think right at the end of the season's 31st of October, and that's where I set my targets for the year. Come to think of it, set targets for this year. I don't think I've met anyone yet. In fact, I don't even remember what they are. I better get online and check. Anyway, my target would be to ride up this section here. You can probably make out I'm not actually doing that at this point. I don't know how obvious that is from a speeded up video, but I am walking up here. I'd had enough this ride, just no more strength. Right, I edited best part of a kilometre out there because it was really the same. This is a little meadow area, people sometimes camp here, and I walked up once, so it was hiking. That's why I said walked up. And there were about 30 people camping. I thought, oh my god. But just camping, nothing bad. What we're coming up to now is probably the hardest riding I think I've ever done. So much so, in fact, no, let's not call it riding. The hardest supposed riding I've ever done. About 100 metres from here, there's a slope. Now, there's no way you can ride up it when it's damp. No one could do that. Unless you've got incredible tyres, but basically it's just too steep. It is, well, it's not like riding up the face of a cliff, no. I don't know how accurate the video is going to portray it, but trust me, around this corner when you go under the cover of the trees again, that is steep. Now this here is played at 8 times, you can see from the seconds counting, this is played at 8 times speed, so there's a lot of stopping. But the problem I had was not so much that it was difficult to push my bike up, because I've got these cycling shoes which are very good, but they just slip off at your heels when you're climbing, when you walk up a slope like this. I just don't want to damage them by standing on the rear, the heels. Okay, have to keep stopping to kick them back on. I'm not making excuses. Trust me, I cannot ride up here. I know 1 or 2 people who can. I cannot. Nowhere near it at all. In fact, I find it hard to walk up even with good shoes on. So, oh, by the way, I stopped here to take photographs. Right, so this is one of the stills I took. That's part of Almaty. A bit smoggy today, you can see the smog on the horizon. That's mostly because the city is surrounded by mountains, and so there's not that much wind, so pollution tends to get trapped. But it's not usually that bad. Anyway, nice view. There actually probably are better city views than that. So, back to the ride.
I fancy I'll open a stationer's, stock quaint notepads for weekend pagans. While you were out at the Roll Right Stones, I came and set fire to your shed. 'Cause you probably work at an all-night garage, you probably work at an all-night garage, you probably work at an all-night garage with talk radio on. And you curse my soul if I don't want petrol, curse my soul 'cause I don't want petrol. I only came down for a tube of Pringles, sour cream and chives. And because you gotta get up off your fat ass to go and get my crisps, and you gotta go around the counter, and it's really inconvenient. And when you come back, you toss them into that sliding metal tray device thing that separates us, and you say, £1.35. As opposed to, that'll be £1.35, please, sir. This is, of course, done to annoy me, but has the opposite effect of amusing me no end, because suddenly I've got other things to buy. I'll have 2 Scotch eggs and a jar of Marmite, 2 Scotch eggs and a jar of Marmite, 2 Scotch eggs and a jar of Marmite. What sandwiches have you got? Well, now you become quite irate, and your voice becomes louder, and you start to sound like Leadbelly at the depot. I got ham, I got cheese, I got chicken, I got beef, I got tuna sweet corn, I've got tuna sweet corn. I'll have 10 Kit Kats and a motoring Atlas, 10 Kit Kats and a motoring Atlas, and a blue CD on the Hallmark label. That's sure to be good. Oh, he went to play golf on a Sunday morning, just a mile and a half from town. His head was found on the driving range, and his body has never been found.
Right, well, not too far from the end of the ride. The thing is that with this section here, it's just too dangerous to ride down very fast, so I basically have to push. Pushing downhill is just not fun, but I just didn't think there was any chance I could stay on the bike if I was going to actually ride downhill, because it's very steep, and even if it's not muddy, it's still damp surface means you'll skid. So I had no real choice.